Inside the vision driving Prime Minister Modi's India on the debate with Arnab at 9 p.m.
From the fiery streets of Jodhpur to the power corridors of Cambridge, he carved a path like no other. A scholar who shattered barriers, a lawyer who redefined the courtroom. The nation's youngest senior advocate, youngest ASG, a commanding voice in parliament. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, not just a lawyer, he is a force of destiny. Witness his journey on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
In the 1980s, people were working hard to be doctors and going abroad. How did you make them come back? Were you winning them over with money or opportunity or with something else?
I think what I told them was that this is the type of hospital that you are going to build. I'll give you everything that you have here, backup technology. But I want your clinical experience.
You know, we talk about reverse brain drain today. Today is 2025. I cannot imagine that someone's doing this 40 years back.
I think they were convinced, but if they come back, that they can give back to the people the same level of care that what they are doing abroad.
Heavyweights reveal secrets of Prime Minister Modi's leadership. Top voices reveal Prime Minister Modi's transformational vision. Inside the vision driving Prime Minister Modi's India on the debate with Arnab at 9 p.m.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to share with you that our campaign hashtag Simply Put India Needs Modi has been very successful. I would like to thank all of you for supporting our campaign. Sometimes hashtags can express it better than many paragraphs. India needs Modi. 5 reasons before I go to our remarkable series of guests. India needs Modi, number one, for its economic growth. Now, don't take for granted the faster than expected 7.8% growth in the quarter in the end of June. Don't take for granted 4.2 trillion. Don't take for granted surpassing Japan and standing only behind Germany, soon to surpass them next. So we need India for economic growth. Number 2, we need India for our global stature. Don't take that global stature for granted. The stonewalling of the American rhetoric. Trump had to come back and soften his position. The Prime Minister attends the SCO meeting in China, displays his unflinching and unapologetic leadership, engages with Xi Jinping and Putin on equal terms, and amidst rising tensions, visits Japan right before the SCO, strengthening the Asian axis. Don't take global stature for granted. That is reason number 2 why India needs Modi. India needs Modi number 3, and our first guest will talk about that. For the revival of our ancient glory, Ram Temple in Ayodhya, Baba Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi, inauguration of the Mahakal Lok, all standing as testimony to the reviving of the ancient civilizational history of this country. This is a period of cultural renaissance, and it cannot be possible that India will be a great country without its strong cultural moorings. Fourthly, for social upliftment. India needs Modi for social upliftment. 25 crore people actually lifted out of poverty. People keep talking about per capita income, but our per capita income has gone up almost 2.5 times between 2013 and 2024. The base is low, I know, but Narendra Modi did not create the base. He can only take it up from where the base is. And lastly, for the realization of a Viksit Bharat. Believe, viewers, believe, and Republic Network always tells you, don't believe the cynics, we are going to be a $30 trillion economy. Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, a per capita income of $26,000 by 2047, a 35 trillion economy are not impossible. They are within our reach. It is going to happen. That is why I say even more strongly, hashtag India needs Modi. And who better to start with than with the remarkable S. Gurumurthy ji. He is the chairman of the Vivekananda International Foundation. He is the editor-in-chief of Tughlaq. He is an acclaimed strategist, and he has a deep understanding of Narendra Modi's mind and his thinking. So good evening, sir. Thank you. It's a privilege to have you as our first guest today. Sir, what are your opening remarks on our hashtag India needs Modi? Do you agree? And if so, to what degree do you agree and why?
See, India needs Modi is undoubtedly true. But as someone who has experienced India and the Indian civilization for the last 50 years, how we were trashed, how we were humiliated within India and outside India, we were treated as just like coolies. The transformation I have personally witnessed, I have personally experienced. This transformation, of course, is a huge civilizational movement which the RSS had mothered and fostered. But the cutting edge came from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Because of 6 qualities I see in him. He is a bottom-upwards man in a top-down administrative model. I will tell you what he himself has expressed. Second is he is both intuitive and counterintuitive. Third, so far as his scale of thought is concerned, sky is the limit. And so far as the speed is concerned, that could not be matched by his colleagues or even by the administration. The fifth quality is abuses in tons made him impervious to challenges. I mean, the kind of abuses that he has faced, I don't think anyone, anywhere in the world, and definitely in India, hasn't faced. The last quality is the more he was challenged, the more fearless he became. This was the Narendra Modi who evolved from 2001 onwards. I had seen him evolving. And so these qualities made him what he is. I will add how he learned the tricks of the administration. As he himself has said, as a bottom-upwards man, he called all the IAS officers, all the people who were involved in running the government as he became the chief minister. And 3 days he just kept listening to them, what they do, how they deal with each other, how they deal with the public. And he found They were dealing mostly with each other. And he ensured that they need not have to deal with each other and they have to deal only with the public. This is not taught to the administrators, political administrators of the country. And unless someone had worked at the bottom of the pyramid, he would not have come to this conclusion that the present administration cannot deliver unless the person who governs at the top has the bottom upwards knowledge. This is the transformation that he brought about in the administration. And I will tell you the 6 fundamental reforms in which I had some familiar knowledge about what was going on. The first is the demonetization, for which he was abused and abused. But the fact is, without demonetization, there would have been no digitization. In fact, there are any number of researches which show what was the position of digitization, digital payments before demonetization, and how the people got accustomed to it during demonetization, how they found it even more easier to handle than check payments and cash payments after demonetization. Today, you have 56,000 crores digital transactions. It's unbelievable. So this was linked to demonetization, for which he was abused, for which it was virtually his government was sought to be brought down because of even the media joining in promoting the anger. But on that basis came the Jan Dhan Yojana. I know I was familiar with what was happening inside the government.
Yes.
The finance minister did not agree for more than 3 crore bank accounts. The Reserve Bank will not agree for more than 1 crore bank account. Modi wanted 7.5 crore bank account in the next 5 months. Today it is 56 crore bank account. This kind of scale is unimaginable, except for a man who thinks sky is the limit. The combination of digital payment and Jan Dhan Yojana achieved direct benefit transfers of over 20 lakh crores. No leak of any kind, directly from the treasury to the recipient, the beneficiary. Unthinkable. And because of all this came the Mudra Yojana. Mudra Yojana is probably the world's largest and the most prolific loan scheme. 52 lakh loans have been granted so far, and 32.4 lakh crores have been disbursed. And it has promoted self-employment and entrepreneurship in a manner. And particularly the women participation in labor force has gone up by almost 80% as compared to 2014. And all these things combined, put together, would not have been, has only enabled GST. GST is one of the greatest reforms and the most courageous reforms. And I'll just to give you the figure, the indirect taxpayers before GST was 6.5 million. Today it is 15.1 million. And the direct taxpayers were 5.7 crores. Today it is 10.4 crores. These figures, this kind of tax participation was unthinkable unless Modi was the person leading the country. And the way he has handled, I will just mention only one thing about how he has handled the foreign affairs in the last couple of months. It is something, a lesson in geopolitics. The kind of courage, the determination, and the capacity to face up to challenges through which he was built from 2001 was demonstrated against the measures initiated by Trump. The whole world succumbed. EU signed on the dotted line. Japan signed on the dotted line. Korea signed on the dotted line. Modi said no. He would not even talk to him on phone because he will treat them in the same way they had treated him and so announce the deal as if the deal had taken place and no deal had taken place. The Prime Minister did not lift his phone for 4 times. They went on a campaign, almost an abuse, unbecoming of a nation of America's size and power. But he never uttered a word. He never responded. He only showed by action. Finally, what happened? It has never happened in the history of India that a Prime Minister of India refused to take the American president's phone for 4 times. And ultimately, they had to come down to have a deal with us. Whether the deal materializes or not is a different thing, but he has done it. And the most important thing which I see as his diplomatic coup is before he went to SCO, he went to Japan and struck a deal on technology, on investment, on trade with a friend of America. And then he went to the adversaries of America. And so he balanced in a manner which is a lesson in geopolitics. So I feel that in the final years of my life, I am spending in an India which Modi has made so proud, all of us to feel proud, and the whole world looks at us with awe. The man visited 72 countries in 10 years. And he transformed the global relationship with India, made it one-on-one relationship with the people of each country. And the result we are seeing, the Morning Consult America rated him as the most popular leader among the 26 democracies, and continuously for 6 years. We all should feel proud of him.
Sir, may you both be extremely healthy, and may both you and Prime Minister Modi have a very long and healthy life. My next question to you, sir, is this: that does Prime Minister Modi have a problem of great or too great expectations? And let me explain what I mean by that. You mentioned UPI. People say, why couldn't he do it earlier? 370. Why couldn't he do it earlier? Even Ram Mandir, why couldn't he do it earlier? Operation Sindoor, why could he not do it for longer? GST, why could he not bring about the rationalization earlier? So is this a classic paradox of a leader who is caught, that he's always, people are judging him by a very different base? Why couldn't he do all of this earlier? Why hasn't he brought in Uniform Civil Code till now? How could that impact him? And does it create some shadow of incumbency in your view?
See, my feeling is that he has changed the rule of the game. That anyone who now competes with him to occupy his position will find themselves so inadequate. They cannot show counter performance. They are only trying to question him because it is in a way, a duty of the opposition to question. But the more unreasonable questions they put, the more they will look less and less credible. I don't think Modi is very much bothered about the kind of talk that is going on, that he should have done Article 370 earlier or Ram Janmabhoomi earlier. 5 years was a build-up period. He had to convince the world. He proceeded from a negative. He was compared to Hitler. He didn't have the visas to visit America, England, Japan, many EU countries. And as Prime Minister, he was elected in this condition. And the world did not know what to do. And Economist magazine said, you are going to raise a Hitler in India. This is the Modi who became the Prime Minister of India. Hated in this country by people who did not want to see his face just because he represented the Hindu civilization. And abroad, such a huge campaign had gone on. People do not even know who Modi was. They only saw him through the kind of campaign that was going on within India and outside India. He transformed the entire image of himself and India over a period of 5 years. Then only he could begin doing things in India so that what he does will be understood outside India also. Because India is a global player. It can never ignore global opinion. Narendra Modi had to become acceptable to the world opinion as a Hindu civilization leader. Also, the civilizational paradigm was developing as Modi came to power. And only after COVID, the civilizational paradigm began taking roots. Even China, a communist China, began proclaiming its civilizational character. And so time was ripe only then for India to do things which, if it had done earlier, it could have been misunderstood also. So Modi had to keep the public opinion in and outside India in mind before he ventured into doing things which India could not do for 70 years.
Well, I think, the question here is that we know, therefore, that the Prime Minister is very significant in his particular role. The question is, Mr. Gurumurthy, you've known him well. You've known him closely. What is his unfinished agenda? If I were to ask you, what is the one thing which you think he would have wanted to address by now, but which he has not been able to adequately address, what would that be?
You see, he would like to see India as the most respected and valued nation in the world, for which he has laid the foundation. He would like to see it happening, for which he needs time. I hope by 2029 he will achieve most of it. He has no independent ambition, in my view. I have never seen him aspiring for anything personally. In fact, once Amitabh told me, have you seen what he eats? He eats so little. And the man is such a simple and a very determined person. He is not easy to probe that person. There is a deep man inside, which connects with a higher force. I've always told him that there is some divine blessing. I have seen thousands and thousands of people praying for him in 2014, in 2019. So all the prayers make him what he is. So I have no doubt that what he wants to achieve is only the country's greatness and our civilizational greatness, which I think he will achieve, and that is his unfinished agenda. Other agendas are contextual. That will keep on happening. But the more important thing is that India emerges as the most respected countries in the world because it has the philosophy to be respected, practice to be respected. A country which till the 13th century did not see any mass human killing when the whole world was witnessing blood and blood only, has a history, has a tradition, has a civilizational personality, which Modi is representing. And I think he has to deliver that message, and he is delivering this message, and he will be successful when he completes his job.
Well, Mr. Gurumurthy, I thank you very much. I couldn't have asked for a better opening on my program tonight. Yes, Gurumurthy, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, my special guest on the 75th birthday of the Prime Minister. We've been speaking to some of the most illustrious people in the country. We spoke to Harish Salve yesterday, and today I have with me Ashwini Vaishnaw. Now, what makes Ashwini Vaishnaw truly special is that the Prime Minister has chosen him for some of the most important tasks, whether that be IT, whether that be semiconductors, whether that be Vande Bharat, whether that be the face of developed India, the Chenab rail bridge, to Atal Tunnel, to Atal Setu. There are so many transformative ideas that Ashwini Vaishnaw is pushing. So, Mr. Vaishnaw, thanks for doing this. I've always enjoyed getting your insights about the Prime Minister.
Thank you.
How are things in the third term? How are things going? How does the Prime Minister start working as early, end as late? What is his working style? Do you see any change in the third term? What more insights can you share personally about his working style in his third term, sir?
Arnab, we know that our Prime Minister has been working relentlessly for building our nation, for transforming our society, for making sure that the common citizens get the best possible things in their lives. Relentlessly has been working for decades now, and in the historic third term, again and again his focus is on working much harder, doing much more, and it's phenomenal. Our Prime Minister has given us a totally new way of thinking in this country. Politics used to be politics for persons, politics for society in the sense that one's own caste, or politics of one narrow region. Prime Minister transformed that into politics of performance, and he has made politics as a medium for serving the people. It's a very different way of thinking. Since 1947, Arnab, we have had so many prime ministers. Did any prime minister give us the goal of making a country a developed country by 2047? I mean,
impossible.
With a timeline?
None. Nobody thought so far.
First time we have got this kind of, correct. And first time we have got a leadership. We have got a leader who's thinking ahead, who's driving everybody. Like in math, if all the vectors work in the same direction, then the goal gets achieved. So he's getting all the sectors, all departments, all parts of the society, all sections of the society to work in that single direction of making our country a developed country.
So, on semiconductors, I'm very curious to know that what are the hard targets that he's been setting and what is his vision, especially for the semiconductor industry in the context of the renewed thrust of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Can you share something that he's working towards, you and he are working towards? What's your next goal? How closely does he monitor your progress?
Our Prime Minister is a very detail-oriented person. So when we first went with the semiconductor program, where we were discussing setting up a fab and setting up ATMP units, he gave us the vision that yes, we must manufacture chips, but we must also manufacture the machines which are used to manufacture chips. And we must also make the materials which are used in manufacturing chips. It's a very, very, very big vision that he has given us. And as always, he is very detail-oriented. He is very intent listener. I've been in corporate life. I've been a bureaucrat. I've also been an entrepreneur. I've never seen a person as intent a listener that as our Prime Minister is. He'll go into every detail, he'll ask questions, and if in a room there are 10 persons sitting, opinion of each and every person matters. A question asked by the junior most person will be valued, and there has to be a discussion on that, and based on that discussion some final outcome should be there. And he also mulls over items before taking a final call, and that's very important because our problems in our society are very complex and very diverse. So it's very important that our leader takes every opinion into consideration. Every person's opinion is valuable, and based on such wide and diverse and deep thinking, the final outcome comes. So that's very important for our country.
What is his interest in the details of technology? He is setting targets for deep technology. He is into the acquisition of materials. I am even told that he brings his diplomacy and geopolitics towards making sure that we have the materials, whether from African nations, other nations, we have the raw materials to make the technology happen. Now what the nation wants to know, Mr. Vaishnaw, is does Narendra Modi get into the details of the technology as he pushes you in the area? He obviously understands the importance of deep technologies, AI, transformations, time-bound processes. But how deep does he go? Does he have a keenness on technology? Does he ask the questions? We all heard, Amitabh Kant was speaking to me a few minutes back. He said, Prime Minister is a great listener. Now, if you get into a technological subject, does the Prime Minister remain as interested?
Absolutely. He is very, very deeply interested in technology, and it's a passion for him. He's a champion of technology. Let's say in the case of semiconductors, in the recently held Semicon, he visited the Semicon twice. First for the opening session, and second when the entire exhibition was to be seen by him, and he interacted with each and every leader in such deep details, and he was able to connect to totally diverse things and give a new way of thinking. For example, one of the exhibitions, Tokyo Electron, when he listened about one particular technology, he asked me to connect some other people working in a totally different sector with this unit so that they can also get the benefit of this particular process. So that's the detail orientation he has, and that's very useful for us because when he connects the philosophical and social dimension to technology, the result is really good.
Now, last question. You're also the Minister for Information and Broadcasting. You juggle so many important portfolios. Does he get distracted with negative noise? Does the Prime Minister get distracted with negative noise, with politics, whether that will be one day around the caste census, on other issues? Now this vote chori kind of stuff which people put out without having the courage to put an affidavit in the Supreme Court to back up their charges. Does the Prime Minister remain focused? Have you seen the Prime Minister concerned that this kind of negative noise could take away from the genuine work done, which needs to be communicated to the people? As the Minister for INB, what would you say?
We are in a democracy, Arnab, and in a democracy, there will obviously always be very diverse views and diverse opinions. What's important is that our Prime Minister keeps the focus always on the long-term goal that we have set for our country, that he has set for himself and that he has set for the government and that he has set for the country as a whole. So that's very, very important, because election cycles will be there. If we have to achieve our goal of being a Vikasit Bharat by 2047, then we must have that strength inside us to think beyond the election cycles and work for goals which may not be immediately achievable, but they will set the foundation for our country's development in a very proper way. Look at this. We are a 2000, if you look at the written economic history of 2000 years, out of these 2000 years, up to about 18th century, India was always among either the biggest economy or among the top two economies, always. Just for this 250, 300 years, we have lagged behind. Our Prime Minister wants to bring that prosperity, that Samruddha Bharat, that Sashakt Bharat, that Bharat whose voice is respected across the world, back to us, and that is what he is working towards. So he always remains focused on the final goal that has to be achieved.
Absolutely. The big picture. Well, Ashwini, Vaishnaw, I thank you for your insight and thank you for your service to the nation in taking these important portfolios forward. Ashwini, Vaishnaw there, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dada. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you. And my next guest is a man who's worked very closely with the Prime Minister. He's been one of the country's most respected senior bureaucrats. He's been the CEO of the Niti Aayog and therefore has had a role in framing policy for the country. And he has also been the Sherpa of the G20, which means that he was in the center of the action and specifically chosen by Prime Minister Modi on one of his most important missions. Mr. Amitabh Kant, thank you very much. People know the numbers, but I'd like to start by asking you, how has it been like working with him? How has he been as your leader in all the very high-profile jobs that you've done for him? Can you share any personal anecdotes?
So, Arnab, let me start with something which really motivated the young Indians, and that is Startup India. And when we went to him, the Prime Minister took 4 different meetings, and he wanted to be sure of everything. And he said, please make sure that startups get clearances immediately. They don't have to run around inspectors. Please make sure that they don't run into labor clearances issues, etc., which other large companies do. So he wanted to make sure of everything before he launched it. So, and then, when we were launching it, he said that make only the startup entrepreneurs sit with him, nobody else, no ministers, no bureaucrats. So you had young entrepreneurs sitting with him. When we were launching Startup India, there were only 156 startups in India. Today, you have over 150,000 startups and you have over 150 unicorns in India. And this is one program where, he got the fund of funds launched. He got the incubators launched. He got the tinkering labs started. So if you look at the perspective of this leader, he looks at, 30 years ahead of time, and then he gets into the details. So you have the vision, you have getting into complex details. If he doesn't understand it, he says, explain it to me again. So he doesn't shy away from understanding complex issues. And third thing is that he is a man focused on implementation and implementation. That was my experience of Startup India. And when this government came into power in 2014, I was amongst the first few people who made the presentation on the Ministry of, then the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. The first thing he picked up was focus on ease of doing business, get these rules, regulation, procedures cracked. And therefore, our whole intention throughout was that get those rules, regulation eliminated, and that's how India jumped up 79 positions. And that's how GST came in, that's how Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code came in, that's how 1,700 laws in this country were eliminated. This could not have been done by any other leader. The third example I would like to give is when I went to make the presentation to him on the backward districts of India. He heard it once, he heard it second time, and then he said, why are you calling them backward? Don't call them backward, call them aspiration. Inko akankshi jile bolo. Or that's how second thing he said, the problem is not with money. You bureaucrats think only in terms of allocation of funds. He said the problem is there is lack of governance in these districts. You fix them. So we picked up the 115 of the most backward districts of India, far-flung districts. We ensured that there are young collectors who stay there for a period of 3 to 5 years. We decided on what outcomes to be achieved. We picked up real-time data. We started ranking and making these districts compete. And we put out their ranking in public domain. And collectors, young collectors, competed with each other. They competed with such ferocity, I can't tell you. And that is why these districts improved, and some of them actually went on to be better than the best performing districts of India. And that was entirely Prime Minister's vision. So I would say that with my experience, that one, he sets a big vision, which is ahead of time. Second thing is he picks up his team to deliver. Third thing, he motivates and inspires them to deliver, but doesn't get into day-to-day functioning. I saw this during
this point you make, that he doesn't get into day-to-day functioning.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard two sides of the story here. Many people say that he gets into details when he needs to. On the other hand, you have said that even when you were in that deadlock situation in the G20, when you were the Sherpa in G20, and we didn't know whether we are going to get a consensus. It was all in the air, and you've written in your that he did not want to get into the procedures of the process. He wanted to see the result, a consensus very soon. So, did he just let you decide the terms? Because you must be in the thick of a negotiation. Every word must be a negotiation in that situation. Are you saying the Prime Minister let you handle it pretty much on your own?
Absolutely. And I want to reiterate that, and I want to speak with full emphasis that here is a leader. If he believes you, if he trusts you, he lays down what he wants to achieve, and then he wants you to deliver. He gives you the full freedom and flexibility. During G20 negotiations, he totally left me to negotiate. He gave me the freedom to negotiate with full absolutely his full confidence. I was G20 Sherpa to the Prime Minister of India, and I negotiated with the full confidence that I am going to achieve success. Those were very complex days. Those were very difficult days. All our ministerials had failed. We still had to achieve success. Russia-Ukraine war was at its peak, and he gave me the complete freedom to negotiate, and that is how we achieved success. It was because of his trust. It was because of his confidence. It was because of his belief.
So tell me about any one incident I want you to leave the viewers with. I am told, I don't know whether it's true, Mr. Kant, that you have done the maximum number of presentations to the Prime Minister. But tell me something, how is it like, for viewers who would want a more anecdotal sense of what happens in a presentation with the Prime Minister? How does it work out?
So, Arnab, that's right, that I must have, because I had a long innings as CEO Niti Aayog over 7 years. I must have made a lot of over 200 odd presentations to him. So first of all, I think his ability to listen and absorb, I've not come across in my 47 years in government, I've not come across any other leader who has this great ability to just listen and absorb. He remains cool, calm, collected during a crisis. That is the hallmark of a great leader. His ability to understand, his ability to absorb, his ability to listen, his ability to absorb and listen. And he just listens. And to my mind, when there is a complex issue he doesn't understand, he doesn't ever shy away from saying that, please repeat this again, please repeat this again.
Okay.
I want to understand it. He does that. And he hears everyone out. Second point I want to make is about his leadership, that I worked with him for over 12 years. And 2 years before, when I went for Vibrant Gujarat, when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, and I had many meetings with him at that point of time, I've never seen him get angry. I've never seen a Prime Minister of India ever get angry. And that, to my mind, is a great sign of a great leadership. Thirdly, when I was doing the Delhi, my first meeting with him was when I was doing Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. And I had to make Dholera and I had to make Shendra Bidkin. I was going around 6 or 7 chief ministers. I went and explained the concept about new cities. And they said, what do you want? I said, I want over 150 kilometers of land. All of them just washed their hands off. Nobody could think big. Nobody could think large. I went to the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Narendra Modi, and he said, how much land do you want? I said, 150 kilometers, sir. He said, why do you want only 150 kilometers? I'll give you 750 kilometers in Dholera. And that's how Dholera was developed. It is now developed, but in 3 or 4 years' time, imagine the size of Singapore. It's 702 kilometers. Dholera is 756 kilometers. It'll be a better city with the semiconductor units all coming up there. It'll grow and prosper over a 2 decades period into a much larger, much bigger city. So that's his vision.
Well, that's amazing. I think without a doubt, people listening to you, the big takeaway I took away from this, the Prime Minister is probably the best listener among people who have ever governed the country. Everyone says this. Amitabh ji, it is so amazing. What is it that you really want to tell people about the Prime Minister? He's a good listener. He's a good listener as he absorbs. Second thing, his humility. If he doesn't understand things completely, he's not afraid to come and say, can you explain that to me again? Which means he doesn't want to make a mistake. That is what makes the Prime Minister, so unique. Hashtag India needs Modi. Ladies and gentlemen, Amitabh, Kant, it's a total pleasure. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it on this section of the program. When I'm back, we'll be talking to a person who's worked so closely with the Prime Minister in his first term, perhaps most closely of all. And his name is Nripendra Misra. He ran the Prime Minister's office as Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister in his first term. So when the Prime Minister was transiting from Gujarat to Delhi, he was the man running his office. He's going to give us some very rare insights when I'm back.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
मेरी गाड़ी ठोकेगा?
पर गलती तो आपकी है।
मेरी गलती? तू जानता है मेरा बाप कौन है?
ये देखो, पापा और गलती दोनों याद आ जाएंगे। अब देखा किसने सिग्नल तोड़ा?
Cubo dash cams. Get smart, get Cubo. भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
ये बड़ी गाड़ी वाले ऐसे ही रश चलाते हैं।
अरे चुप, तुमने तो गाड़ी वालों को ही विलन बना दिया।
ये देखो,
Cubo dash cam. Get smart, get Cubo.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
ये बड़ी गाड़ी वाले ऐसे ही रश चलाते हैं।
अरे चुप, तुमने तो गाड़ी वालों को ही विलन बना दिया।
ये देखो,
Cubo dash cam. Get smart, get Cubo.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
In the heart of the jungle roams the finest creature, and through the chaos of the sparkling city lights, I am reminded of the timeless valor of the majestic tiger. In life's wild journey, we have one shot to thrill. And when done flawlessly, we unwind and allow our spirits to rejuvenate. Royal Ranthambore, India's finest, yet.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
The biggest takeaway of each meeting with the Prime Minister when we come out is the abundant love he has got for Tamil culture and Tamil people. That is like, you can see he gets very excited. And when I had the opportunity to meet him in Delhi before his Tamil Nadu visit, I just opened my mouth, sir, we welcome you to Tamil Nadu, next week you're coming to Chennai. Immediately became like a child. He's like, yeah, I'm coming, I want to meet, I'm very excited to come to Tamil Nadu. His love for Tamil Makkal, that is something which you got to be there to realize it. I don't think any non-Tamilian who's not born in Tamil Nadu, born somewhere in the country, the kind of love he has got for Tamil Makkal, Tamil culture.
Republic Jack Oliver's studio. Stay tuned for all the breaking news and updates. I am Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get started.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Last night, someone broke into Ishan's room. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped him with a loud alarm and alerted the mom.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ, सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया जोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया जोना, इंडिया जोना,
इंडिया जोना।
When he was walking around the building, and this is his first entry, he felt this
In the 1980s, people were working hard to be doctors and going abroad. How did you make them come back? Were you winning them over with money or opportunity or with something else?
I think what I told them was that this is the type of hospital that you are going to build. I'll give you everything that you have here, backup technology. But I want your clinical experience.
You know, we talk about reverse brain drain today. Today is 2025. I cannot imagine that someone's doing this 40 years back.
I think they were convinced, but if they come back, that they can give back to the people the same level of care that what they are doing abroad.
Now, back to the debate with Arnab.
Very special guest with me on the program today. And I can just begin by saying that perhaps very few people in this country have worked as closely, as intensely with Prime Minister Narendra Modi than Shri Nripendra Misra. Nripendra Misra needs no introduction, viewers. He was Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister of India, specially chosen. And the Prime Minister, Nripendra Misra ji, had retired. The Prime Minister said, nothing doing, you're going to work with me. And every single decision in the first term, in fact, he resigned in 2020, but he continued into the second term. So more than 5 to 6 years of working then with the Prime Minister. And of course, everyone knows Nripendra Misra is the chairman of the Ram Mandir Construction Committee, the project that is closest to the heart of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So he continues to work very closely with him. Nripendra Misra ji, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. It's a total pleasure.
Thank you very much.
You know, I want you to talk to our viewers about, you speak very fondly about working with the Prime Minister in his guidance. And you have often taken pride into the, As he turns 75 today, can you share something about those moments of close proximity, the moments when Prime Minister came to Delhi for the first time, the first day when he entered the Prime Minister's office, and any personal anecdotes that you can share which you think will be meaningful to our audience? Sir.
Thank you, Arnab, for giving a very, very illustrious kind of introduction to my career. Today is a very special day for all of us, for the country, for the citizens, the well-wishers of the country. It is the birthday of our Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi is not an ordinary person. You can, of course, describe that he was a great success in Gujarat as Chief Minister. He is also today, after completing 2 terms and now in the 3rd term, those who would evaluate him perhaps will give him distinction marks for steering the country. Since you asked about my early experience with the Prime Minister,
yes,
I first met him on 20th May 2014. He took oath, if I am not mistaken, 26th May. And then I joined the office. The most important message that I got in the first week of my innings with him, he wanted to define the role of what the principal secretary should be. It was clearly explained and conveyed that the principal secretary is a backroom boy. He must not reach out to the press, as that's the job left to the political leaders. And he repeatedly mentioned to me that you must give me your free and frank advice after evaluating all the proposal, its consequences, and you should then leave it for the final decision to the leader, that is the Prime Minister, and again take over that responsibility of implementation after he has cleared the details of any proposal which comes to him. So it was very clear, the broad contours that he had defined, that where am I supposed to, in what manner am I supposed to assist him in his discharge of functions. I would like, perhaps I must introduce some of the features of this Prime Minister, which was also very clear to me in about a fortnight working with him.
Yes.
He made it clear that he will lead the country. He will be responsible for the policies, consequences, implementation, its success. He clearly used to say that, look, I do not blame my teeth. I would never blame my colleagues. And he would also say repeatedly that I will never preach anything or expect anything from the bureaucracy which I do not practice himself. So something which he practices himself, only those are the kind of things that he would preach or expect the conduct of the bureaucracy. So in many respects, एक जो लीडर में विश्वास होता है,
जी
लीडरशिप में ट्रांसपेरेंसी होती है, लीडरशिप को जिम्मेदारी लेने की एक हैसियत होती है. ये सभी क्वालिटीज दैट वाज देयर इन abundance. And we then became, the relationship became not just functional. Functional, of course, the relationship will be, because he is the leader, the Prime Minister, and I was his principal secretary. But what is called a very congenial atmosphere, where every day was a very pleasant experience working with him.
Sir, tell me, in your years of working with him,
asking.
So sorry to interrupt, sir. Please continue, sir. No, I was asking you that in all your years of working with him, simple question, simple question, sir, to you. One, does the Prime Minister get angry or anxious? This is my question to you. Does Narendra Modi get angry or anxious? Secondly, what is the personal side of working with Narendra Modi? You know, he comes across as a tough leader, no-nonsense man, a good listener. But is there a softer side of him, anything that you can share with us? So does he get angry and anxious because he appears cool and collected all the time? Must be human. There must be moments of his anxiety or anger. Have you ever witnessed that? And secondly, you know, is there a softer side to the Prime Minister that you've seen or can talk about?
Let me give you one example of how he would conduct himself, how would he sort of guide his teammates. There is a very good program of review of the projects, the progress of the projects. Every month it would happen. He would pick up 6 to 8 national projects, and then he would like to know if there is any delay, if there is a reason because of which implementation is not going as per his expectation.
Yes.
Is there any budgetary issue, release of funds? So state chief secretaries were also invited in that review meeting. If a project was not going as per his expectation, I never saw him losing temper.
Never?
I, of course, never heard that he is, you know, giving some kind of a warning that you will not be there or the punishment would follow if the project is not implemented. His maximum utterance of dissatisfaction would be when he would, in a very smiling manner, tell the Chief Secretary or Secretary to Government that won't you like to complete this project during your tenure? And that was enough. That was just enough for him, the officers, to know what is the message being conveyed. So, you know, you talked about the softer side.
Yes.
And he appears to be a very hard taskmaster. We never entered his office or his ante-room and inquired from his junior staff there, working very, very, closely, like private secretaries and all, that how is the mood of the boss. Very often, subordinates enter the office of the boss by first inquiring about the mood of the boss. In his case, I found that he would be relaxed, totally relaxed. He will have no paper waiting at his table. I never saw any paper pending with him. And the time that he gives to you, it's totally devoted to you. As you said, he's a very good listener. What he does not like, he may not express it, is that if a decision is called for, that decision must come from the Prime Minister of India in that meeting. If he ever postponed a decision because there were certain informations wanting, it will make him sad. Once or twice he did mention to me that, Mr. Misra, perhaps the homework of your team was not good enough. But that was only if we could not steer him in the direction where the decision should be taken. Even a rejection of the proposal, in his mind, it was a decision. The first two meetings on GST, which late Mr. Jaitley and few of us were extremely enthusiastic for a national tax regime, we were advocating it before him, and he did not accept it. Because he thought that this taxation proposal is not providing an element of equity to consumptive states and manufacturing states. That was his problem. But once he said no, that particular day it was no, and you had to come back with your strategy if it needed review. So in his mind, even a negative decision but clear decision was a decision. But he was very receptive. The same subject, the same details, with some different way of presentation. And in the third meeting, he was ready to review his own decision.
No, 100%.
And the
Sir, there's
GST
one other question I wanted to add to you out there, because what you're presenting is a very decisive side of the Prime Minister. I'm sorry I'm taking too much time, because I thought I should ask for less time from you, but I cannot but listen to you. So I'll ask you one more question. Sir, the thing is that people would want to know, because when you were in Prime Minister's office, demonetization happened. I think it was November 8th, 2016. You were Principal Secretary when that happened. And also, I think when the first surgical strikes happened. Were you there, sir? You were in office when the surgical strikes also happened, the first one?
Yes.
Yes. So,
very much.
in
very
these
much,
moments,
very much.
they say it's very lonely at the top. The general phrase is very lonely at the top. What was the Prime Minister's frame of mind, on those days? Demonetization day particularly, or surgical strikes. Can you share any personal experiences of that?
I will talk about the both because they also open up a very interesting mindset of the Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes.
On the issue of demonetization, 2 months before the announcement was made, or 3 months maybe, he had discussed in great detail his framework. What is it that he wanted and why? Mm-hmm. The main issue on which he was very, very emphatic was the role of black money in Indian economy.
Yes.
And what measures must be taken to curb that. We worked the details. There were obviously people who were opposed. The limitation was that it had to be kept a great secret. In the scheme of such things, you just cannot let it know by the masses.
Yes.
I mean, it meant the transaction of the crores and crores of money which was going to be denotified.
Yes.
So much was the secrecy that we had to fill up the ATM with the new notes which are going to be in circulation 2 days after. And everyone said that, look, it cannot be done like that. You have to permit us to take out the new notes and send them all over the country. It had to go. I rushed to him and I said, sir, this is what is to be done. And perhaps there is a risk. In 1 minute, he said, look, Mr. Misra, the bottom line is, if there is any leakage of this program, all of you will be responsible. And I would suggest that you find new ways to send money and fill up. Maybe ATM will function after a day. But don't do this mistake of sending new notes 2 days before and taking out the old notes. He was not lonely in this decision. He took the matter to the cabinet, everybody endorsed. But yes, he was responsible and he knew it clearly that whatever decision and whatever are the consequences of this historic decision, the credit and the blame will be his, because he would never blame his generals. He would never ever blame that the homework was not done adequately.
Very important.
There were certain pitfalls. When I look back, many people ask that, do you think it achieved all its targets? The answer is no. It did not achieve everything. The level of conversion that took place in banks, unprecedented, unexpected, and I would concede that the exchange was not always through fair means in banks. I would admit that when there was a little shortage of currency notes, there was inadequacy in homework of the bureaucracy. I include myself in that.
Correct.
But he never mentioned. You know what he did? At 12 in the night, when he was given the data by my very dear colleague who is now Principal Secretary, the currency notes, the number of notes, the rate of conversion, people, manner in which they are taking out. So it was very clear that now there is going to be a physical limit, and perhaps the printing of note is not keeping pace with bringing it out in the sector, I mean entire banking sector. That was the day when he first announced his determination to go digital. In 24 hours, the fate of the country was changed. Trust me.
Amazing.
Today, when we say that India is even ahead of developed countries
in UPI,
in the digital transaction.
Yeah.
UPI and many other things. Yes. I mean, our habit of making payments in the shops, the shopkeeper, the petty shopkeeper, everyone is keeping POS machine. It is at petrol stations, the card system introduced. All this was his vision. He could see the potential of digitization, and that was introduced. And that resolved the issue of shortage of new currency.
No, I think that's very important. You
asked about
also on the first day of the surgical strike, you know, again people say lonely at the top. Did you feel?
Yeah.
Did you witness anything then which gave you an insight on that?
This I am very keen to say because in many respects, he was also clearly defining the work distribution in the Prime Minister's office. When this decision took, I was not there present in his final decision. I didn't know the time and the date on which it is going to happen. The details were known. We got to know after a few hours. He, of course, was monitoring it the whole night. We were told all the details, what was happening, and how the Prime Minister at his residence was monitoring and taking information from the generals. Next morning, I very smilingly congratulated him, and I told him that, sir, as your principal secretary, I thought I should have known the exact moment when it was, the historic thing was taking place.
Okay.
First he kept quiet. Then he said that your colleague Mr. Dawal knew it, the facts about the time. You know, he is National Security Advisor. Even today he is there. So he mentioned he was aware about this fact. And I think in these matters, sometimes you work on the principle of need-to-know basis.
Need-to-know basis, wow.
You know that famous sentence of yes, Prime Minister.
Yes, of course.
That how much the Prime Minister should know.
Yeah.
And his principal secretary said it's on a need-to-know basis only, I brief him. So he jokingly told me it is on need-to-know basis.
Wow.
So that's the kind of decision-making that he was doing. Clearly, there are certain decisions which must be taken by NSA. He must know first, and then I should know.
But I also love the
And
subtlety
there are
with which he
areas
has
which
been speaking. You know, like everything. What I come across in this conversation is, viewers, if you listen, here is a man, he works so closely with the Prime Minister. He's senior to the Prime Minister in age, by the way, Nripendra Misra. But the respect the Prime Minister has shown to him, the subtlety of the relationship and the personal warmth, I think these insights are very useful. And we have not got these insights. In fact, what we'll do, it's not possible to encapsulate all this in the course of one conversation. we would like you very much to visit our campus to do a whole series of podcasts on working with Modi, because these are the insights which will inspire the next generation. But Nripendra Misra ji, I thank you very much. Your experiences of working with the Prime Minister in his first term are most important. I wish you good health as well. And we all wish the Prime Minister the best of health and many more years of service to the nation. Nripendra Misra ji, thank you very much, sir, for now. Thank you, sir.
I join in your good wishes for the Prime Minister. We all really want him to lead this country in a manner, and the only word I find is the Urdu word zunoon.
Junoon.
If there is a person who has a zunoon for this nation, that's he and he and he.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you. Very well expressed, sir. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Last night, someone stole my car. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped him with an automatic spotlight and a blaring alarm.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Last night, someone robbed the Kapoors. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped them with an automatic spotlight and a blaring alarm.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा।
Last night, someone broke into Ishan's room. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped him with a loud alarm and alerted the mom.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
The biggest takeaway of each meeting with the Prime Minister when we come out is the abundant love he has got for Tamil culture and Tamil people. That is like, you can see he gets very excited. And when I had the opportunity to meet him in Delhi before his Tamil Nadu visit, I just opened my mouth, sir, we welcome you to Tamil Nadu, next week you're coming to Chennai. Immediately became like a child. He's like, yeah, I'm coming, I want to meet, I'm very excited to come to Tamil Nadu. His love for Tamil Makkal. That is something which you got to be there to realize it. I don't think any non-Tamilian who's not born in Tamil Nadu, born somewhere in the country, the kind of love he has got for Tamil Makkal, Tamil culture, Tamil people, I don't think anybody in the world has got that except Honorable Prime Minister. That is why we keep telling that he has got that Purva Janma connection to Tamil Nadu. So that he becomes like a child. He becomes very enthusiastic. So that is something, a key takeaway every time you walk out. Something related to Tamil Nadu, Tamil culture, he gets excited. He talks about the oldest language in the world, Tamil. He talks about our rich heritage, the quality of the architecture.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Last Last night, someone dropped the caboose. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped them with an automatic spotlight and a blaring alarm.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
इशारा समझ ले इशारा समझ ले हवा में फिजा में नजारा में इशारे संग हो जा तू मेरे इशारा समझ ले इशारा समझ ले
Last night, someone broke into Ishan's room. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped him with a loud alarm and alerted the mom.
Cubo smart security cameras. Not just record, it protects.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा
Last night, someone stole my car. Well, almost. But Cubo AI stopped him with an automatic spotlight and a blaring alarm.
Cubo smart security cameras.
Just the takeaway of each meeting with the Prime Minister when we come out is the abundant love he has got for Tamil culture and Tamil people. That is like, you can see he gets very excited. And when I had the opportunity to meet him in Delhi before his Tamil Nadu visit, I just opened my mouth, sir, we welcome you to Tamil Nadu, next week you're coming to Chennai. Immediately became like a child. He's like, yeah, I'm coming, I want to meet, I'm very excited to come to Tamil Nadu. His love for Tamil Makkal, that is something which you got to be there to realize it. I don't think any non-Tamilian who's not born in Tamil Nadu, born somewhere in the country, the kind of love he has got for Tamil Makkal, Tamil culture, Tamil people, I don't think anybody in the world has got that except Honorable Prime Minister. That is why we keep telling.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
At 8 p.m. tonight, Pakistan admits and confesses that India rejected any third-party mediation. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, the Chief Justice of India sparks controversy with the Ask Lord Vaishnaw remark, Hindu devotees demand answers. And at 9 p.m. tonight, I am joined by some very, very special and remarkable guests on #India Needs Modi as Prime Minister Modi celebrates and the world celebrates his 75th birthday. And ladies and gentlemen, the big story is that for all the people who ever doubted the position that India took, the position that Prime Minister Narendra Modi took, that there will be no mediation. No American third-party mediation is neither wanted nor warranted. And that is what we told Trump when he wanted to mediate, and that is why Trump was wrong and Trump was lying when he was saying all along that he had a role to play in ending the conflict between India and Pakistan. The fact of the matter is, the Pakistanis called our DGMO and asked for a ceasefire, and we obliged. And that is the end of the matter. Now, viewers, Ishaq Dar, who is the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Pakistan, has confirmed that India categorically refused third-party mediation during this military conflict. In fact, he said that the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio tried to facilitate talks on May 10th and July 25th. And Pakistan told America, yes, we want mediation. But according to Ishaq Dar, India maintained a rigid position that this is a bilateral issue, we don't need the Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, coupled with the fact that Jaish commander Ilyas Kashmiri yesterday also exposed the ISI and said that the entire base of the Jaish in Bahawalpur had been completely destroyed. Ladies and gentlemen, this proves that we brought Pakistan to their knees. Remember this soundbite of Major Tahir Iqbal a few days before the Pakistanis went crying to the Americans. Very senior former army officer and parliamentarian in tears while we were bombing them. Just for a recap, let's play it out.
रब काबा हम तेरे आगे दरख्वास्त करते हैं इस मुल्क के हिफाजत फरमाना जो तूने हमें अता किया है और ये नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की दुआओं का है आपने कायदे आज़म को इंग्लैंड में मुलाकात की ख्वाब में आए और उनको कहा कि जाओ वापस और जाके पाकिस्तान का मामला हल करो कि अल्लाह पाक ने ये हमें अता किया है और अल्लाह पाक इस मुल्क की हिफाजत फरमाएंगे दुनिया में जहां भी देखें शायद हमारी कमी है हम मजबूर हैं हम गुनाहगार हैं लेकिन रब्बे काबा हम तेरे हबीब के उम्मती हैं खुदा का वास्ता हमसे रहम का मौला फरमा आप चले जाएं उधर फिलिस्तीन में चले जाएं कश्मीर में चले जाएं जहां भी जाएंगे मुसलमानों के साथ वो ऐसे रो रहा है जो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं तो तू हमें माफ कर दे हम तेरे आगे सर झुकाते हैं माफी मांगते हैं नहीं इसमें दो राय नहीं है मौला कि हम बड़े गुनाहगार हैं लेकिन तेरी रहमत बहुत वसी है
So that is the kind of panic that was there in Pakistan. That's when they started dialing America. And the Americans kept thinking that they would find a role for themselves in the process. But there was no role, ladies and gentlemen, and there was absolutely no opening that we left for them. The Americans kept wanting to intervene. But as Ishaq Dar has himself said today, India remained absolutely unswerving on the matter, saying there's no possibility of a reconciliation or third-party mediation. All of this while the Pakistanis themselves started questioning the Pakistanis. This is Imran Khan's sister. Listen to her.
तो सही क्योंकि आपको शायद जंग का पता नहीं मेरे हस्बैंड एयरफोर्स में थे मेरे बहनोई भी एयरफोर्स में थे ये जो क्लेम कर रहे हैं कि इन्होंने जहाज गिराए हैं वो जो नवाज शरीफ की हुकूमत क्लेम कर रही है ना तो यहाँ पे ड्रोन अंदर आ रहा है मतलब इंडिया से अंदर पिंडी तक पहुँच रहे हैं पिंडी तक पहुँचे कैसे
So when there was so much pressure building up internally, at that point of time, the Pakistanis need to do what they're always experts at. They needed to issue a flat, white lie. So they lied to the world that America intervened. This is as big a lie as the fact that they have no links between the ISI, the Pakistani establishment and the terrorist groups. Remember Pahalgam attack mastermind Saifullah Kasuri was cited in a public rally in Pakistan with Talha Saeed, the son of UN designated terrorist Hafiz Saeed and Punjab Assembly Speaker Malik Ahmad Khan. Those are the pictures that I showed you. That's how openly Pakistan lies. Remember their lie on Osama bin Laden? We don't know where Osama bin Laden is. We have no idea about his whereabouts. And you know that Osama bin Laden was caught living right next to a Pakistani army headquarters under Pakistani army protection. That was his house. So the Pakistanis lied. They lied also about Kassav. They said, we know nothing about Kassav. But their own channel, Geo News, traced him back to a Pakistani village. Ladies and gentlemen, the admission of Ishaq Dar is happening at a time when the Pakistanis are aware of the way in which we are building our military infrastructure, are extremely concerned that unless America is given a role in edgeways, with China not supporting them, with Russia looking the other way, they will have great trouble with Narendra Modi in charge, a Prime Minister who's absolutely razor clear about keeping the pressure on Pakistan. Just listen to him.
हमारे वीर जवानों ने
पलक झपकते ही पाकिस्तान को घुटनों पर ला दिया। अभी कल ही देश और दुनिया ने देखा है, फिर एक पाकिस्तानी आतंकी ने रो रो कर अपना हाल बताया है। साथियों, ये नया भारत है। ये किसी की परमाणु धमकियों से डरता नहीं है। ये नया भारत है, घर में घुसकर मारता है।
Defense Minister Rajnath Singh gave a fierce response to those who propagated Trump's ceasefire claims.
कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो ये कहते हैं कि यह जो सीज फायर हुआ है भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच में किसी के हस्तक्षेप के कारण हुआ है। मैं साफ कर देना चाहता हूं, मेरे बहनों भाइयों, यह किसी के हस्तक्षेप के कारण हमारी आतंकवादियों पर जो कार्रवाई हुई थी वह स्थगित नहीं की गई थी। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर तो भी स्थगित है। आगे यदि कोई आतंकवादी वारदात होती है तो फिर से हमारा ऑपरेशन सिंदूर प्रारंभ होगा। मैं यह विश्वास के साथ मैं सारी देश की जनता को बताना चाहता हूं।
Rajnath Singh cited Pakistan's foreign minister's admission in an interview.
माफ कर देना चाहता हूं, मोहम्मद इसाक डायर जो कि पाकिस्तान के डिप्टी प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं और फॉरेन मिनिस्टर हैं, उन्होंने भी साफ कहा है कि इंडिया रिजेक्टेड थर्ड पार्टी रोल टू एंड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट।
Speaking to a foreign media, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar made a huge admission. Ishaq Dar said that US Secretary of State Marco Rubio told him that India does not agree to any third-party mediation and has insisted that the matter is a bilateral issue. Citing Dar's statement, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju hit out at the opposition. He asked the opposition whether they will apologize.
Donald Trump has said 29 times. 29 times he said, 29 बार उन्होंने बोला कि भैया मैंने सीज फायर करवाया है। अच्छा, अगर वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं तो अपने भाषण में यहां प्रधानमंत्री कह दें कि वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं। यहां पे अगर दम है तो यहां पे प्रधानमंत्री बोल दे कि ट्रंप झूठ बोल रहे हैं।
Despite opposition's targeted attack on Trump's ceasefire claims, government has maintained that the talks were held directly between India and Pakistan's DGMO. It cannot get bigger and clearer than this. Can the opposition admit and apologize to the nation?
Now, we have with us Adnan Haider, he's a Pakistani journalist. We have Uzma Kardar, PMLN leader. We have Professor Madhav Nalapat from Thiruvananthapuram, acclaimed geostrategic expert. Now, Uzma Kardar, your foreign minister and deputy prime minister is saying that America was not allowed to intervene by India. He says India is a very obstinate country. They are not allowing the Americans to intervene. But Trump is saying that I intervened. But Pakistan is saying that we have been trying to get the Americans to intervene. But they are not letting anyone intervene, which means that you have lied in the past. You are thanking America for saving you. But now you are saying that America failed to convince India. Ye sari cheezein, all these things, Professor Nalapat, are on record from this man. His name is Ishaq Dar. I think he's their foreign minister. And he has given an interview where he is saying that we are trying to convince the Americans to try and tell India to allow intervention, but India is refusing to listen to the Americans, listen to anyone. So, Madhav Nalapat, what does this prove?
Arnab.
Let Madhav Nalapat go first and then you come in, Usmaji.
I simply want to say that I think they believe that if you repeat a lie long enough and loud enough, it will be accepted as truth. But now I would like to thank the Pakistan Deputy Prime Minister for speaking the truth. And that's what a leader should do, speak the truth to his or her own people. And the Pakistan Deputy Prime Minister has correctly said India did not accept third-party mediation, something that India has made very clear for a very long time. There's no question of third-party mediation because this is a matter to be settled between two subcontinental cousins, India and Pakistan. We are born from the same country, Hindustan, and we were partitioned in 1947. And any dispute that we have, there's no need to bring in outside mediation. There's only need to discuss among ourselves. And from our point of view, the Prime Minister wanted to show that India can inflict a bitter lesson on Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. And once that was made clear, he ceased fire. There's no need of Donald Trump or anybody else. He did it on his own. And I think that proves very clearly that the intent of India is not to harm Pakistan, contrary to the opinions expressed by several of my friends from Pakistan. It is not to harm Pakistan. It is purely to ensure that Pakistan does not harm itself by harming India. Because eventually, I can tell you, Arnab, unless the Pakistan and India have got good relations with each other, the prosperity of Pakistan will be a pipe dream. And today, Pakistan is having very high inflation. It's having a high rate of joblessness. Its provinces are basically getting very upset with the army, frankly, not the central authority. And this is all happening in plain sight because of a faltering economy. And the reason for the faltering economy is that General Eisenhower, the military-industrial complex, is grabbing the lion's share of the resources of the country.
Now, what this also proves is that, I have General Bakshi also joining us. General Bakshi, very interesting development today, that Ishaq Dar is saying that I keep going to the Americans and telling them, please talk to India, please explain to India not to hurt us. But India is refusing to talk to the Americans on this subject, saying it's bilateral. Now, Uzma Kardar, this proves your Deputy Prime Minister is saying, therefore, that your Prime Minister was lying. One of them is a liar.
Okay.
One of them is a liar. You agree with me? Because they're saying two different things. One of them is a liar.
With due apologies, I think I have to say that the crushing defeats that you people have suffered in your so-called Operation Sindoor and the
you saw what happened yesterday. Bahawalpur was destroyed and Jaish-e-Mohammed chief comes and says, Pura Bahawalpur barbad kar diya. Come on now, you crybabies.
I think that has really
crybabies, beggars, beggars with a begging bowl.
That has disturbed your mental equilibrium.
Shahbaz Sharif got kicked at the SCO. I feel so bad for you. Now tell me, why was this the case?
Cock and bull story.
No, why was this the case? General Bakshi.
For your own,
General Bakshi, they made all the claims, but now they are saying, we must get the Americans to convince the Indians to talk to us. Why do they want to beg the Americans to beg them to talk to us? General Bakshi is on the debate. General Bakshi.
Memory lapses. The rest of the world
Arnab, the Pakistani foreign minister himself.
You were brought to
Madam, with your kind permission, I don't yell at a lady.
Power of Pakistan.
Thank you.
Carry on, General Bakshi. She won't stop, you know her. She won't stop, but you got to carry on.
Arnab.
She's like that only.
Arnab, as I was saying, the Pakistani Foreign Minister himself today, Ishak Dar has agreed that I asked Marco Rubio where are the talks and discussions between India and Pakistan, and he said, look, India has said that they will not accept second party, third party mediation. It will have to be between India and Pakistan. It will have to be bilateral. That is the Indian stand. And they are not prepared to budge from it. We've tried our bit. I'm sorry, it's not working. That was the American reaction to Pakistan. I don't know why the lady is getting near hysterical. But the fact of the matter is, that is the truth. India did not budge from its very principled stand. It is Pakistan which had gone crying, begging to America to get its chestnuts out of the fire. They were in trouble. Why did your people have to go to the United States? Because you were in serious trouble. 10th of May, and the Pakistani Air Force had ceased to fly over its own airspace. Noor Khan, the command and control center, had been knocked out. Murid, the command and control center for drones, had been destroyed. 4 Pakistani bases from where your fighter bombers could have taken off were cratered. Rahim Yar Khan is still non-ops, right? We'd hit your hangars at Jacobabad and also at Bolari. 1 AVAC, 4 F-16s at Bolari, another 8 almost AVACs were destroyed in Jacobabad. Apart from, don't forget about the planes that we destroyed on the ground, including the IL-78 refueler, C-130 transport, 1 more, 5 jet fighters in the air, thanks to the S-400s.